All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. Part 2. Sorry about the interruption today. I don't think this will ever happen again. I guess never say never, but didn't anticipate an interruption. Anyhow, let's do the NHL games, and then we'll go back over the NBA, do our normal review as if we didn't get interrupted. Capitals coming off a big win in Florida over Tampa Bay. Again, just a review. For the NHL, it's the 181st day of the season, which is the 42nd prime. 42 could be important today. We're getting very near the end of the NHL season. I believe it ends April 6th, the regular season, if I'm not mistaken. But today's date numerology, 44 and 17. Can look and see if anyone's going for their 7th straight win or 7th straight loss. That could be helpful information today. It's also the 91st day of the year. So possibly numbers having to do with 13 could be important. 91, the 13th triangular number. Let's just pull up the standings and see if there were anyone going for a 7 streak that might be playing today. The Sabres are on 11-game losing streak. Picked that up yesterday. Sure. Let's see. No, not there. Golden Knights on quite a losing streak. One of the top teams not long ago, losing at the wrong time. Okay, so what stands out about this game is the Capitals are at 47 wins. We just saw the Panthers, I believe it was the Bruins they just upset, holding them to 47. Again, Panthers has that Gematria 47. So there's a chance here the Capitals could stay at 47 against the Panthers. And I noticed the Capitals, or the Panthers, excuse me, could pick up their 36th win. So there's a little riddle on the board that makes me think the Panthers have a fighting chance. If they did get their 84th points today has the 44 date numerology. There's a mathematical relationship between 44 and 84. The divisors of 44 sum to 84, so that's another thought. Let's look at the head-to-head here between these teams. Panthers versus the Capitals, 126th game. Panthers going for the 53rd win. Looks like the Capitals are going for the 64th or 65th. Panthers going for 53. Let's just look at the points from the Capitals' perspective. Okay. All right, so there's nothing there that really jives with the date numerology. The Capitals, or excuse me, the Panthers have 41 wins in regulation. It is April 1st. It's also the 181st day of the season, the 42nd prime. So a chance at the 42nd win in regulation. I'd say for the immediate riddle, the Panthers seem to have the better narrative. Capitals 36, Panthers 47. And just make sure I'm not missing something with like a 25 there or something. For Panthers, make sure there's nothing with the points. Florida Panthers is 1-2-2 like Washington Capitals. They share that number. All right, so the better narrative is for the Panthers. Just to be thorough, even though this hasn't been the most helpful looking down the road, just to see who they play next. Capitals play Montreal next, the Canadiens. I think it's there unless it's the points. Canadiens. Montreal Canadiens. 102. So if they lost, they would go into that Canadiens game with 102 points as well. So that also favors the Panthers. That's the nice thing about looking ahead, is sometimes when it already favors the narrative that you're looking at, give you a little bit more comfort. Panthers got the Islanders next. Islanders. No, Islanders have the connection with 38 and 39. Maybe the gematria of the points. Like Islanders 86. If they won tonight, they'd be at 84 points with a chance to get 86 against the Islanders. That game will be on the 94th day of the year. New York Islanders 94 as well. So the Panthers narrative is not bad. They stay at 47 against the Panthers. They get 36 against the Capitals, and the Capitals would go into the next game with the perfect amount of points for the opponent, 102 to go with the Montreal Canadiens. And don't forget, this is the 102nd NHL season. It'll be the 101st Stanley Cup. And there's one team that has a connection to both those numbers. Nashville's 102, and Nashville Predators is 101. So Nashville's a very interesting team this year in light of how things jive with the season number. Okay, Rangers and Devils. The only thing that could go with the date is that 41. You know, it's April 1st, 4-1, maybe. Rangers. All right, let's run the numbers here. Anything that goes with that. Devils got the 35 connection. Rangers could get the 35th loss against the Devils. It's a possibility. New Jersey. Let's see, New Jersey Devils. So I'm not seeing the only thing that jumped out was the 35. Okay, let's check it from the other way. Let's see if the Rangers have any numbers that go with the Devils. I don't think they do. You've got the 44-day numerology. Rangers. New York Rangers. Get their 70 points. New York Rangers 77. So the New York Rangers, their next win will put them at 77. It doesn't have to come today. I'm going to see if their next game's at home, because we do see a lot of teams pick up their points that match their team perfectly at home. So the next game is at home over the Senators. 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 All right, let's check the Devils' schedule here. Got the Carolina Hurricanes next. Okay, Carolina. Hurricanes. Hurricanes. Okay. Check the head-to-head here between these teams. Rangers and Devils. 247th game. The Rangers going for the 119th win. Devils going for 102. Check it from the other perspective real quick. The next points will be the 241st. That's the 53rd prime. What did the Devils play next? The Hurricanes. The Devils have in terms of the riddle tonight, there's only one thing that jumps out. It's just that 35, that they could get the 35th loss against the Devils, and Devils is 35. It's nice to pick when there's more than one thing that lines up, but it is the one number that's hanging out there. Wasn't anything else with the points. It was just that the New York Rangers equals 77. Make this point about the Rangers again. Their next game's at home, and it's also on the 94th day of the year. They could get their 77th points at home on the 94th day of the year. They'd have to lose outright today. So personally, I like to see more lineup to have confidence in a pick, but put a gun to my head and said, well, I got to take the Devils. It's all I see for the immediate game. Looking down the road, if the Devils went on a losing streak, and realize this hasn't been the most helpful to look at things this way, but if they lost tonight, they'd get their 41st loss. They could get their 42nd, possibly against the Hurricanes. And then if they did, they'd be looking at the 43rd loss against the team with the double 43 connection. Florida and Panthers are 43. So if the Devils do lose tonight at home, I mean, they're a good candidate to lose both these games on the road against two teams that have significantly better records than them. So I think both of these teams have nothing to gain at this point in the season. I think they're both out of the picture. Yeah. So they're two eliminated teams, which makes it a bit of a crapshoot. Okay. Whoops. Hit the wrong thing. Okay. Maple Leafs, Islanders. So $99. These numbers don't sync with the Maple Leafs, I don't believe, unless there's a 99 thing. Toronto Maple Leafs 90, but not 99. Oh, Maple Leafs does have the 99 connection. Okay, Maple Leafs 99. So the Islanders, if they got beat, they'd stay on 99, and the Maple Leafs could theoretically pick up their 99th points. How about the Islanders? Hold on. Okay. I'll look at that again. Islanders. New York Islanders. So I didn't see anything for the win-loss column. Double check it. Okay, so the 99 points thing is the one thing that stands out, that both teams could be on 99 points after this meeting. And how are they doing in the standings here? It's coming down to the wire. So Toronto, right up there at the top. They got 4 games left. Islanders got 3 games left. Let's check the head-to-head. Islanders, 157th game. That's the 37th prime. Actually, there was no 37s out here. Islanders got 77 wins. New York Islanders equals 77. Maple Leafs got 72. If the Islanders won, they'd get their 171st points. That's the 18th triangular. It's the 2018-19 season. What happened here? All right, there we go. 72. We're going for the 163rd points. 163 the 38th prime. Islanders 38. Let's take a peek at who they play next. We've got Carolina next. Carolina Hurricanes. Hurricanes. Carolina Hurricanes is 99 too. If they won, it would tie it up at that number, and they could go in to that game with that many points. It's also just as possible that they lose tonight and pick up the 99th over the Hurricanes. That game's back at home. Game's on ESPN. ESPN does have that connection to 45, just in terms of keeping track of the network. 27, though, as well. Either team could get the 27th loss. So the things we're thinking about, Islanders could stay on 99 against the Maple Leafs. Possible. It could be symbolic. 99-99 going into that next game. Carolina Hurricanes with the 99. Better look at who the Islanders play next. Islanders schedule. Panthers, Florida Panthers. Now, I know Panthers equals 101. So the Islanders could get their 101st points against the Panthers. I know that. We've talked about this before. There's 101. And if they did, they'd get their 47th win against the Panthers as well, and Panthers is 47. So if they won tonight, they'd go into the Panthers game with 47 and 101. But I'm just thinking, in light of Maple Leafs being 99, there's a chance they stay there, absolutely. It doesn't always work out that way, so that it's not a lock riddle, but there'd be some symbolism in both teams being at 99 points. And for a little bit more abstract thought, again, today's April 1st, 4-1. This morning, the big news story was that Kellogg sold their cookie brand to Ferrero for $1.3 billion. Ferrero equals 41, 1.3 billion, kind of like 13, 41 the 13th prime. When you write out 13, it's 99. So, I mean, there's a few steps in that thought, but perhaps that's part of the reason these teams could both be on 99 points today. Make sure there's not something with 47 and Hurricanes. Yeah, I'd give the edge to the Maple Leafs here. If the Islanders do lose this game, I think they'll be in great shape to beat the Panthers in the next one. Okay, Lightning versus the Ottawa Senators. 44 date numerology, and if I'm not mistaken, Lightning is 44. Yeah, Lightning is 44. The Tampa Bay Lightning have anything left to do this season? No. They could rest their players. They have 4 games left. They are completely clinched. Top team, nobody can touch them. So this game means nothing to the Lightning. Of course, it also means nothing to Ottawa, but I guess they're playing for pride. Did Lightning also equal 64? No, it didn't. Tampa Bay. Lightning. Tampa Bay is a big favorite, even though the game's meaningless. Let's see. (102nd game). Tampa Bay going for their 43rd win. Remember, Ottawa Senators is 191, the 43rd prime. And the Senators going for their 58th all-time win. If the Lightning lost, they'd stay at 59 wins on the 17 date. 59 is the 17th prime, and Ottawa is also 17. So I'm thinking Ottawa can get it done here. There's reason for the Lightning to stay on 55, and there's reason for the Senators to stay on 44 losses. So what I would do is I would take the spread with the Senators. Just in case they lose, you can win if they cover the spread. But this being a meaningless game for the Lightning, the numbers are there to believe that the Senators can upset this game. The date numerology is there, the location's there, the team name's there. Senators definitely have a fighting chance. I would take them on the spread. Make sure I just didn't overlook anything. Maybe 91, 91st day of the year. Let me just look ahead at who they're playing. I know this hasn't been the most helpful, but just in case, maybe something to add to the theory. Lightning going against Montreal next. Montreal Canadiens. Montreal Canadiens. Montreal Canadiens. Okay, and how about the Senators? Senators got the Rangers next. Now, Rangers equals 44. Rangers are a team with a double connection to 44. Rangers, 44, and New York Rangers, 193, the 44th prime. So one more reason to believe that the Senators stay on that 44. 2 ways to do it, with a win or a loss in a shootout. So Senators look good for an upset. Take the points if you do it. Blues can get their 43rd win over Colorado. Colorado 43 at home against Colorado. That's looking pretty likely. Let me see if there's something in the points too with that. Colorado 43, Avalanche. Colorado Avalanche. Colorado Avalanche is 93, so that's the one thing that could go against the Blues. If they lost in a shootout, they'd be at 93 points. Let's check the St. Louis Blues Gematria real quick. St. Louis has that. So that's an overlap number too. St. Louis has the 43 connection as well. So we got an overlap there with Colorado and St. Louis. St. Louis Blues. Blues has the Gematria of 14, 43, the 14th prime. Maybe one more reason to believe in 43. not something else we're overlooking. Where's Blues? Yeah, the Blues look pretty good. Let's check the head-to-head here real quick. $140th game. Blues, or the Avalanche are going for the 62nd win, and the Blues are going for 68. Check it from the other perspective to see how the points line up. Okay. The Blues are at 67 wins, 154 points. I think Avalanche does have that connection to 67, yeah, but okay. Avalanche also 68, huh? Yeah, that 43rd win against Colorado looks pretty good, especially with the St. Louis having the 43 connection too. Those overlap numbers hit well. Check who they play. So if the Blues win this game, they have a shot at their 44th win against Chicago, and Chicago carries that 44 Gematria as well. So if they get 43, they got a shot at 44 against Chicago. I think the Blues have something to play for here. Yeah, they're trying to preserve their place in the standings. So yeah, they got everything to play for right now. And how about the Avalanche? The Avalanche have a lot to play for as well. Just having trouble seeing that 43 not coming through. Check out the Avalanche schedule here. Avalanche have Edmonton next. Perfect. Edmonton's 37. So great team to get 37 against, the Edmonton Oilers. So yeah, I like the Blues there. Jets have a shot at their 46th win in Chicago. Chicago 46. So good place to get 46. Check the head-to-head real quick. Jets. Winnipeg. 40th game. They're at 17 wins. Now that's curious because we are on the 17 date. The Blackhawks have 17 wins in regulation plus 5 in overtime. If Winnipeg did win today, they'd get their 41st points on 4-1. So that's another thing to consider. The Blackhawks against Winnipeg, they have 45 points. They could get their 17th loss in regulation today against Winnipeg. If they lost in regulation, they'd get the 17th in regulation. The number that's jumping is this one right here, Chicago, 46. That's the one screaming at me. Winnipeg. Jets. Jets. The only thing I could say about 45 is Illinois does have the Gematria 45. It is another big number in Chicago. Bears is 45, Cubs is 45, Wrigley's 45. I mean, it is a number that's relevant to the city as well, so it is something to consider, but Chicago is 46 just using the alphabetic order. And I'm just seeing that Jets has the 45 too. Double check all that one more time. Chicago, Blackhawks. Blackhawks is 46 as well. So, But what I don't see are the numbers that that go with the Blackhawks win-loss record. I don't see that connection. One thing missing. Let's just see who they play next. Oh yeah, Blackhawks got the Blues next. We were saying how the Blues could get their 44th win over Chicago. Is there anything there with that? Blues. St. Louis. Blues. And they got Dallas after that. Let's see. The Minnesota Wild next. If the Jets did win this game, they'd have a shot at 47 against Minnesota. Minnesota has that 47 connection. See Minnesota Wild Gematria real quick. Minnesota. Minnesota Wild. Minnesota Wild 94. If the Jets lost, they would go into that game with 94 points. Another thing to consider. So, again, the most standout number is picking up 46 in Chicago. Chicago's 46. Blackhawks is 46. I don't see the riddle in the Blackhawks numbers with the Jets. And the head-to-head was a little bit iffy. Again, the Jets could get their 17th win in regulation on the 17 date. I think this game is a little dangerous, but man, Chicago 46, that's the number that just keeps calling out to me. All right, let's see about Oilers and Golden Knights. We talked about the possibility of the Golden Knights going into this game with 42 points. They stayed on 42 against the San Jose Sharks, 42. Oilers equals 42. So here they are. It's going to be the 80th game. I know Vegas equals 36, so the Oilers could pick up their 36th loss in Vegas, which is probably what will happen. Vegas 36. Vegas Golden Knights. Golden Knights. Golden Knights 80. No, they can't get to that. Edmonton. Oilers. Oilers. That's just the one. That's the one hope for the Oilers, keeping them at 42. But again, it's in Vegas, and Vegas is 36. So to me, that's the most likely number to hit, picking up the 36th L in Vegas. Let's see what they've done. Nobody has a big history with the Golden Knights. They're a new team. 8th game. Edmonton actually leads. Wow, there's not a lot of teams that lead Vegas. 4-3. So they could even it up at 4-4 on this 44-date numerology so long as Vegas won. Vegas would have to win to even it up at 4-4. Edmonton, and one of their wins is in overtime. So I'm thinking that makes some sense. Even it up at 4-4 on the 44-date numerology. Let's see. Let's see the Oilers' schedule here. Let's just take a peek at who they play next. They have Colorado next. Avalanche. Avalanche. So notice that Avalanche carries that Gematria 77. If they lost, they'd go into the Avalanche game with 77 points. Avalanche. I think that's their clue there. Golden Knights schedule. Got the Coyotes next. Or anything about that? Coyotes equals 30. If the Golden Knights kept that 30 in the L column, they'd face the Coyotes with 30 losses. Game's on the 94th day of the year. Okay, Arizona Coyotes. Arizona Coyotes 93. Golden Knights, if they get a win here, they go into that game with 93 points and 30 losses. Two things that connect to the next opponent. Just to play devil's advocate, I do see one possible scenario that could go in the Oilers' favor about the next game, and that is just the fact that Arizona also equals 42. So I guess technically they could stay on 42 wins and go into Arizona with a chance to get their 93rd points over the Arizona Coyotes. But again, just looking at this immediate head-to-head, the number that pops the most is right here, the 36 in Vegas, getting that 36 loss in Vegas. So I got to favor the Golden Knights. And also, if the Oilers do lose, they go into the next game with 77 points. Avalanche equals 77. Okay, Flames and Kings. Two things right away. The upset narrative is the Flames getting the 24th loss. Kings equals 24. The Kings could get their 41st loss. Calgary equals 41. And if they lose, they stay at 67 points. Flames equals 67. So that's probably what's going to happen. Calgary 41, stay on 67 points. But hold on, let's just look a little bit more. I'm just thinking that's the riddle that makes more sense in terms of the record. So Calgary 41. Oh, excuse me, Calgary's 67. Calgary's 41 and 67. 41st loss, 67 points. Calgary Flames. Flames. Wait, make sure. 106. All right, Kings. There's the one riddle for the Kings. It's giving them their 24th loss. Kings. Are the Flames playing for anything at this point? They've won their division. They can't lose their division. That's done. They need to, well, maybe not. Maybe they are already the top seed. All right, so they're already the top seed. So Calgary has absolutely nothing to play for, which makes that a little more curious. They are the top seed. Well, that means that this 24 could hit. Kings is 24. Let's just see who they play next. Kings got the Coyotes next. If the Kings lost 2 in a row, they'd have 42 losses. Arizona's 42. Arizona Coyotes, though, if I'm not mistaken, is 69. They could get their 69th points. Coyotes playing for anything? Coyotes have a shot. They're on the cusp. Okay. Yeah, that just makes things curious that the Flames have nothing to play for. So it's dangerous to bet on a game like that because Kings does equal 24. I mean, it's entirely possible. But again, Calgary 41 and 67. Kings don't have anything to play for either other than home pride. But okay, let's review this real quick. Capitals have a decent shot here to get upset by the Panthers. So definitely take the points. Anytime you're picking, I always think it's best to be conservative, especially if you're on one of those sites where you can do parlays and take the points as well. What's up, man?
Hey, before you start your review, I know you're a busy man. I just had a couple observations.
Yeah, please.
The whole Duke thing. I don't know if you mentioned this or not, but next year, Mike Krzyzewski in February, he'll be 73 years old.
Right.
73, yeah. 73 is the 21st prime. 21's the sixth triangular number.
Right.
Right?
And that game will in the championship next year will be in the same building.
Exactly.
Where, yeah, you already know where the other two coaches got 6. We did talk about that possibility, and also it'll be the 82nd tournament, and Duke Blue Devils is 82. So, yeah, they probably get it next year.
That's looking good. Hey, one other observation I made last night. I'm looking at the Mariners, obviously, so I'm following their games. Tell me what you think of this. And that's obviously, I don't think it's a coincidence, but tell me if you like this alignment today. Today has 44 date numerology. Seattle equals 44, correct?
Right. So does Ichiro.
The other thing I'm noticing in this, I remember this guy. I don't follow these games like I used to, but Felix Hernandez used to be a fucking stud, right?
Yes, he did. He's getting old, though.
Okay, so he's sitting at 168 wins, the career wins right now. Today he can get his 169th career win. 13 squared is 169. Today's the 91st day of the year. 91 is the 13th triangular number. And what's really weird, man, if you go on Major League, the MLB thing, they kind of changed it. But when you go on there, you know how you look for these little clues, these things that might be clues. The last time he won was June 30th of 2018. And what's trippy about that is from that day to his upcoming birthday, his birthday is a week away, April 8th, 282 days, Zach. Huh. His full name equals 282 in English ordinal. And it's also from that last win to his birthday, his upcoming birthday, is also 9 months and 9 days. You know, back to the 13 again.
Well,
right out 13.
And for a few more 13s, the Angels come into this game 1-3.
Right.
And the Mariners are 3-1 at home. If they won, they'd be 4-1.
Right.
So.
And the other thing I like too, the opposing pitcher is named Stratton. I think they picked him up from the Giants. He was like their best pitcher last year. I think he had like 10 wins for the Giants, and they got him at the end of spring training. This Stratton guy comes into the game at 15 and 14, his career. So today, how appropriate for him to get his 15th loss we have 5 date numerology. 15 is the 5th triangular number. So how perfect if he loses today, he would be 15 and 15 on 4/1. What do you think?
Those are great observations. The other thing I could say for Seattle winning today is that if they did, they'd become 6-1, which is kind of like 61, the 18th prime number. Real quick, since you called in about the Mariners, I'm just going to share something with you guys. Oh, shit, I thought I had it in this post. Did you see that the Japanese pitcher for the Mariners just lost his father?
No.
So here, I'll share this right now. So over the weekend, the Japanese pitcher for the Mariners' father just died, and his name equals 43, the father, like how Mariners is 43, and this is their 43rd season. All right, so here's everything. The father died March 30th, 2019, a date with a life lesson number of 45, like how Ichiro just retired at age 45. The pitcher's last name is Kikuchi, which equals 45, like Major League. Big number there, the 9th triangular number. The father's name was Yuji 43, like Mariners, in Mariners' 43rd season. And the father has died while the son's 27. Of course, MLB's 27. Yankees lead the MLB with 27, the ritual number. But the father has died 79 days from the son's birthday. And remember, this season began on the 79th day of the year in Japan. And the name Yusei, the name of the Mariners pitcher, is 79, just like Murder. And
Game 7 this year would be on a date with 79 numerology, correct, too?
Right. And the World Series starts on Ichiro's birthday. The father supposedly died from cancer. Cancer equals 44, like Seattle, also like Ichiro. And Ichiro came back to the Mariners last year at age 44. Also, I just wanted to point out what the Mariners did yesterday against the Red Sox. They won 10-8, kind of like 108, like how Major League's 108 double stitches. The Red Sox won 108 games last year. The Mariners began the season 5-1, like how Ichiro wears the number 51. They're also 3-1 at home to start the season. Boston's 31-22, so that could have gone either way. But the 51 is no doubt a tribute to Ichiro. They did that yesterday on a date with 19 numerology. Seattle 19, they wear the S on their cap. S is the 19th letter. The starting pitcher pitched 5.1 innings, 5.1 to start 5-1. We've been talking about all this stuff. And
hey, what about that ritual sacrifice that you did before them? That was a different player that played for the Mariners, right?
Leroy Stanton, who died.
Okay, that's someone different then.
Leroy Stanton is who played for the Mariners and also played one season in Japan in 79. He died at age 72 on the 76th.
Oh, so this other guy's another Japanese player. This is a different person you're talking about.
Well, I was just talking about the Japanese player Yusei for the Mariners, who already pitched and got a win for him this year.
Okay.
But then there was also the retired Mariners player who died 1 week before the opening day. He played 1 year in Japan, the year 79. So
hey, there's something to this too, and then just looking at their stats, I mean, it's like they've got power and speed all of a sudden. You know, they've stolen like 7 out of 8 bases already. You know, I mean, and all the home runs too. They were still hitting home runs yesterday.
Well, you know what's tripping me out is I did not know that the Mariners changed their stadium name this year. I don't know how that escaped me because they've always been Safeco Field, but now I'm noticing that they're called T-Mobile Park. And what's funny about that is T-Mobile Park equals 67, the 19th prime, and it also equals, it equals 122, just like how Seattle's on the 122nd meridian. So I did not know about this T-Mobile Park name change, but it's tripping me out.
It's really interesting, man. I'm glad you told me that because I had heard one of the announcers say comment about not calling it Safeco Field anymore. I didn't catch if they changed the name, so I'm glad I know that.
Yeah. Has Felix pitched yet this year?
No, and that's the thing. He used to open for them on opening day.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He was a stud, you know, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. And like I said, he hasn't won since June 30th. So if you go back and you put June 30th, from June 30th to his April 8th birthday, which is in a week, is 282. And that's his full name. And if you look up his full name, it's like 5 different. It's got 5 different names in it. It's something really bizarre. I had it written down. I'm at work right now, so I don't have it in front of me. What was it? It's there it is. It's something like Felix Abraham Graham Hernandez Garcia.
Long name.
282. And why is it that he hasn't won since June 30th of last year? And from that day to his birthday is 282 in English ordinal. His full name.
Yeah, that's wild.
Accident.
That's wild. Yeah, that's a great observation.
So I don't know, man. They look good today, but I was just wondering what you thought about that because I'll probably play that today.
Well, the 6-1 start. the 6-1 start to me has rhyme and reason. It's like Roger Maris hitting 61 and 61 because it's the 18th prime number and baseball equals 18. And
what else with 18? How else does 18 connect to Seattle? Does it not?
I don't know if it has any other connection to Seattle, but it connects to baseball. And it's kind of like how they won 10-8 yesterday. So.
Okay, brother. Well, hey, I just want to throw that out there.
18 runs yesterday. 18 runs.
18th run? Was that their 18th run yesterday?
Well, the score was 10-8. There was 18 runs yesterday.
Oh, 18 runs. Yeah. I don't know what it was. I'm sure there's some significance of how many runs they've scored this year already, too, or how many runs they scored against Boston in that series because, I mean, there was just a ton of runs in all those games.
I'm just looking at the Gematria of Angels and Anaheim real quick. I'm just checking that out. Just make sure not like a 52 up there or something.
Well, the only thing I saw with 52 is I think Seattle equals 52 with the S exception. That's the only thing I saw that looked like it was a narrative maybe for them to lose today.
Seattle has a 52?
With the S exception.
Oh, Mariners would be 52 with the S exception. I'm just thinking,
I apologize.
I'm thinking about that. Yeah, that would be. Mariners, it would be 52. Yeah, that I'd say that's the only risk there. I bet you the Mariners do start 6-2. I bet you they do because it's been all about 62 this year. Chris Sale. So, whatever the Mariners do tonight, I think we're going to have Lock City for their next game. Again, Chris Sale, the whole season began with the 62 ritual. Chris Sale came in with 62 losses. The Mariners' first 3 games against the Red Sox, if I'm not mistaken, the score was 6-2 at one point in the game. So they got to start 6-2. So, maybe ride the Mariners tonight. If you lose on it, get them back tomorrow because I don't know how they don't start 6-2.
That's a great observation, man. Hey,
yeah.
Thanks, Zach.
Yeah,
I'll
welcome.
talk to you soon.
All right, take care. Okay, so little baseball. And you guys, we're going to do a ton more baseball once basketball and hockey wind down. We'll have a stretch of months where it's pretty much nothing but baseball. But let's review again the NHL. So Capitals, they're at 47 wins. Panthers, 47. We just saw Panthers up somebody with the 47 connection. Here's another opportunity. Plus Capitals is 36. Panthers can get the 36 win. And we noticed the Capitals' next game is the Montreal Canadiens. They have the 102 connection. As long as the Capitals lose, they go into that next game with 102 points. Rangers and Devils, there wasn't a lot to bite into here. The one thing is Devils does equal 35. The Rangers could get their 35th loss. If the Rangers lose tonight in regulation, their next game is on the 94th day of the year at home over a lousy opponent, so they'll probably win. The New York Rangers could get their 77th points in the 94th day of the year at home as long as they lose tonight. Now, proceed with caution. We're not going off a lot here. It's just that the one number on the board is 35, and Devils does have the 35 connection. Personally, I like to see a few connections on the board to have confidence. But, it's like yesterday. There was only one connection in the Sharks game, the one team getting the 49th win against the Sharks, and it came through. So sometimes it just takes one. Maple Leafs and Islanders. Maple Leafs equals 99. And the Islanders, I believe they play the Carolina Hurricanes next. Or maybe it's the Maple Leafs too. One of these teams plays a 99 team next. It's the Maple Leafs that do. So it's the 99 thing. Could both teams be at 99 points after this game? Oh, you know what? I think the Islanders play the Panthers next. Let me check that. Yeah, so the Islanders play the Panthers next. So if the Islanders lose tonight and stay on 99 against the Maple Leafs, they can get their 47th win against the Panthers. Panthers 47, and Panthers is also 101. The thing is, though, the thing that always makes this tricky is sometimes we see the team get those points and the win and go into the matchup and then stay on that. But like the last caller just talked about today with all the 13 connections and how when you write out 13, it equals 99. It could be a good day for 99.99. So I would favor the Maple Leafs here, but again, not a super strong riddle by any stretch of the imagination, but the 99s. I just think that's probably what'll play. The Lightning have have the best record in the league. They're playing for nothing. Senators would be playing for pride. I would take the Senators spread here. I think the Senators have a good chance to win this game, and the reason why is right here. Well, it's here and here. It's in 2 places. Lightning are at 59 wins. That's the 17th prime. We have a 17-date numerology. Ottawa equals 17, so they can stay on 59 in Ottawa. Lightning equals 44. The Senators can stay on 44 losses with a win or a shootout loss. If you get to a shootout, the Senators will cover the spread. So I'd take the Senators with the spread here. Lightning playing for nothing, Senators playing for home pride. Avalanche and Blues, the overlap number's 43. Colorado's 43. St. Louis is 43. The Blues' next opponent has the 44 Gematria. So I think the Blues get it done here against the Avalanche. Jets and Blackhawks. There's nothing that's really lining up for the Blackhawks at all, but the Jets can get their 46th win in Chicago. Chicago equals 46. That's probably the number that hits. The only thing that scares me is I just know that the city of Chicago has this big connection with 45. Again, Bears equals 45, Cubs 45, Wrigley 45. The Cubs hadn't been in the World Series since 45. So it's another number that's relevant to the city. Not a lot to go off of. If I had to go, I'd say, okay, I'm going to take the Jets just because the old 46 thing, and the Jets do still have something to play for where the Blackhawks don't. The Blackhawks are eliminated. They're playing for pride. The Jets are playing for playoff positioning. Oilers and Golden Knights. Vegas is where the game is. Vegas equals 36. Oilers can pick up 36 loss in Vegas. I think that's the most likely number to hit. Their next game is against the Avalanche. Avalanche has the gematria of 77. They can stay on 77 points. The scare for the Golden Knights is Oilers equals 42. If they lost, they stay on 42. However, the Golden Knights' next game is against the Coyotes. This can go either way because Arizona's 42, Coyotes is 30. If the Golden Knights win, they're at 93 points. Arizona Coyotes equals 93 as well. It's a little dicey, but if I got to choose, I'm taking the Golden Knights because it's in the city that has the 36 gematria, Vegas 36. And Flames Kings, the Flames have already won their conference. They can lose the rest of their games. It doesn't matter. They're going to be the top seed. If they lose tonight, they get their 24th loss against the Kings in a meaningless game. Kings equals 24. If the Kings lose, they get their 41st loss against Calgary and stay at 67 points. Calgary is 67. So you can make a perfect riddle either way. I would personally just stay away from this game because, again, you just don't know what's going to happen. Flames have nothing to play for. But there's a good enough riddle on the board to think that the Kings might lose anyway. So, and there's also a riddle to think that the Kings could win. So it's too crapshooty. So that's the review for NHL. NBA, we covered this earlier, but I got interrupted. Again, I'm sorry I had to do a double take here. Pistons and Pacers. These teams play each other back to back. The overlap number is 37 because Detroit's 37 and so is Pacers. Part of how we called the Pistons to beat the Blazers in the last game. But here's the big clue for tonight with the Pacers and the Pistons, who are, well, looks like the Pacers are going to finish out of the Pistons. The Pistons are the one that need to win more here, but look at this conference record. If the Pacers win tonight, they get the 31st win. Pistons equals 31. And they stay on 17 losses on the 17 date. And if the Pistons lose tonight, they stay at 26 wins against the Pacers. Pacers 26. But again, these teams play each other in the next game too. So I got to give the edge to the Pacers being at home and having this date numerology thing in their favor, and both conference records making sense just looking at the immediate game without getting one game ahead of myself. So if I just had to pick tonight, I'd take the Pacers. Heat and Celtics. These teams are playing each other back-to-back. Same thing, same scenario here. The scare for the Celtics is they're at 45 wins overall and 27 at home. Miami equals 45 and 27. But the number that I think matters the most is 32 because the game's in Boston. Boston equals 32. And again, just a couple weekends ago, we saw the basketball player killed in Boston in that multiple 32 ritual. So I think the Celtics stay at 32 losses in Boston. Also, there's something here with the conference record. Well, as I say that, okay, Heat equals 16. They can stay at 16 conference losses, the Celtics can, but it is the 17 date numerology, which is a little worrisome. They could get their 32nd conference win in Houston and stay at 16 losses against the Heat. So both riddles are right there. The Heat, though, if they lose, they stay at 22 wins in Boston and pick up the 26th loss against the Celtics. Boston 22, Celtics 26. And if the Celtics sweep the Heat in these last two games, Miami would pick up their 27th conference loss in Miami. So I got to favor the Celtics too. They're the team with more on the line here. Heat are playing for everything as well, but I mean, it's the Celtics that are the team with the expectations, not the Heat. The Bucks and Nets. If the Bucks win, they get their 58th win. Nets is 58. That's just screaming out at me. The 58th win against the Nets. If the Nets lose, they're 39 and 39. New York equals 39. So that makes some sense, right? They'd also get their 17th home loss on the 17 date. However, we just saw Atlanta upset the Bucks and get that 16th home win. Remember, Milwaukee equals 53, the 16th prime. The other thing going for the Nets is this is the 173rd series game, which is the 40th prime number. Nets have a shot at that 40th win. So the Nets do have a little riddle here. You know, the Bucks win this game. They've nearly clinched the conference. So, you know, I think the Bucks have the edge here, but again, there's room for concern. It's the 16 thing and the 173rd series game, the 40th prime. So if you do bet on this, you know, don't bet a lot. This isn't a game to bet a lot on. It's also the game that could break your parlay. So be careful. But I would favor the Bucks. Knicks and Bulls. It's the 168th day of the NBA season. New York City equals 168. New York City also equals 57. That's where the NBA is headquartered. If the Knicks are going to get to 17 wins, which is in question now, that was my prediction. It could be wrong. Again, I thought they'd get to 17 because Zion equals 17. So does NBA. If they're going to get to 17 wins, they only have 6 games left. They have to go 3-3 to finish the season. Today is their most winnable game on the remaining schedule, at home against the Bulls. Somebody said earlier, when are the Knicks a favorite? And it does make you wonder, when are the Knicks a favorite? I feel like the Knicks are going to win this game. But again, I thought they were going to win against the Heat the other day and give the Heat the 39th loss. That didn't happen. It's always dangerous to go with the Knicks. The big scare here is the Bulls can get their 22nd win and Knicks equals 22. So again, proceed with caution. If the Knicks don't win this game, I don't think they're getting to 17 wins. That's for sure. But the Bulls can get 22nd win and Knicks is 22. So dangerous game. If you just want to have a little fun on it, bet a few dollars. I would take the Knicks just because 168th day of the season. I think there might be some magic to that. And speaking of magic, they face Orlando tonight. They face Toronto tonight. The big scare here is right here, the potential 24. Magic equals 24. They could give the Raptors their 24th loss. It would be a big upset. The Raptors are playing for their 46th series win against the Magic and their 55th home win. Raptors does equal 55 and 46. We see a lot of teams at home get the numbers that connect to their name. The Magic's next game is against New York. So if the Magic lose tonight, they'd be in prime shape to get their 39th win against New York. But notice if they won tonight, they'd go into New York 39 and 39. So I'm not crazy about this game just because there's a big upset riddle right there. The Raptors have something to play for. You know, the Raptors are trying to catch the Bucks, but it's likely not going to happen. So, I mean, they got incentive to win, but look at Orlando. They're on the cusp of the playoffs. So, an Orlando upset wouldn't surprise me in the least right here. Magic 24. Proceed with caution. Blazers and Timberwolves. The 43 is the number that screams out at me, as well as the 34. Blazers equals 43. They can give the Timberwolves the 43rd loss and the 14th home loss. 43, the 14th prime. Remember earlier this year, the Timberwolves debuted their Prince jerseys, the tribute to Prince. Prince equals 34, so does purple. Those jerseys were purple. And in that game, the Timberwolves got their 34th series win against the Trailblazers. Prince, purple, 34. Now they face the Blazers again on 34. I think they're going to stay there on 34. And I don't exactly understand why they're having the Prince ritual with Portland, Oregon. There's got to be something to that. Well, Oregon equals 38, and so does Prince. I mean, that's a thought. But if the Timberwolves lose this game, they stay on 34 season wins and 34 series wins. So that's my thought. And again, Blazers is 43. 43 is the 14th prime. Perfect team to get the 43rd loss and 14th home loss. 76ers might get upset by the Mavericks tonight. I would lean this way. I would definitely take the points if I bet on the Mavericks. But the reason why is because Dallas is 49 and Dallas, Texas is 28. They can stay at 49 wins against Dallas, pick up the 28th loss in Dallas, Texas. The one thing that's going for the Mavericks is this 18, or not Mavericks. The one thing going for the 76ers is this 18, because Mavericks equals 61, the 18th prime. So Philadelphia, though, they're in a situation where they need to be winning ball games. If I didn't know Gematria, I'd say, oh, Philadelphia is going to win this. Dallas isn't that good, and Philadelphia needs some big wins here. But the Gematria, you know, this is a big number with Dallas. We just saw Dallas do this to the Warriors with the 49-2. Let me pull that game up just in case you forgot. Dallas Warriors box score. It's this one right here. They kept the Warriors at 49. So that was 9 days ago. And you know what? The Warriors went down with 91 points. Now Dallas plays Philadelphia on the 91st day of the year. And Oakland, it's Oakland that equals 126. The other year when they won the championship on June 12th. I think that was the year they beat the Cavs on Martin Luther King Jr. Day with 126 points, if I remember right. Something like that. But yeah, I think the Mavs could get it done tonight against the 76ers. Hornets and Jazz, I would just stay away from. There's really nothing to go off of. The Hornets prayer staying on 41 losses on April 1st. Both of these teams have history in New Orleans. I just don't see anything in the numbers for this game. Utah's a huge favorite. Utah could get their 31st loss at home. Utah equals 31, but I wouldn't count on that. To me, this is just a stay away game. I don't see anything there. And Cavs Suns, again, it's always dangerous to bet on a Cavs game or a Suns game. Today has the 17 numerology. 59 is the 17th prime. Cavs could get their 59th loss. It's also on NBA TV, and NBA TV equals 59. They could get their 33rd away loss on the 33rd parallel in Phoenix. The Suns, it's the 17 date. They could also stay on 17 wins against the Cavs, who are from Ohio, the 17th state. They were the 17th team to join the NBA. There's not a more 17 team in the league. It's part of the reason LeBron went to the Lakers on July 1st. Ohio also equals 61. But something I did point out is if the Cavs lose tonight, their next game is against the Kings, and Kings equals 60 with the alphabetic order. So if you put a gun to my head, I'd say, okay, I'm taking the Suns. I'm taking the Suns in this one. But obviously, it's a risk. You can make a 17 riddle either way. So again, just to review, Pistons and Pacers. It's dangerous. I favor the Pacers because of the conference record. These teams play each other back-to-back, which makes it tricky. Heat and Celtics are playing each other back-to-back. Also, a little bit of a tight riddle here, but I favor the Celtics, mostly for staying at 32 losses in Boston. Bucks Nets, tight riddle again, but I think the number that's going to come through is the 58. I think the 58 is going to be the one that comes through. Nets 58. But again, proceed with caution. These games are dangerous. They could be your parlay buster. Nets can get the 17th loss on the 17 date or stay at 16 losses because Milwaukee's 53 the 16th prime. And again, 173rd series matchup, the 40th prime. I mean, the Nets could get the 40th win. So there's riddles both ways. But that Nets 58 is the one that just keeps staring me in the face. If the Knicks are going to win a game, if the Knicks are going to win one more game this season, this is the best shot they have. Betting on the Knicks, always a risk. Knicks does equal 22. Bulls could get the 22nd win. And I'm not saying if the Knicks lose tonight, they'll lose the rest of the games, but if you just look at their remaining schedule, this is their most likely game to win. So, can the Knicks win on the 168th day of the year? New York City 168. Magic, real shot to upset the Raptors. I think if I bet on this game, and I'd be hesitant to because it's a riddle that goes both ways, but I think if I did, I would definitely take the Magic with the points. Because just the one number that stares out in the record is Magic 24. And the Magic, they need a big win like this if they want to make the playoffs. A loss here might put them close to elimination. Trailblazers, they should get it done. This 34-43 riddle seems good to me. 43 the 14th prime. Mavericks take those points. I think they can get this upset here. It's the way I feel about it. Yeah. And then just real quick in the NHL, just one more time, just to make sure we're thorough and good on the review. We got to hurry up, though, because games start soon. Panthers, I believe they'll upset the Capitals. Panthers equals 47, Capitals equals 36. And Capitals' next opponent equals 102. They can go in there with 102 points. Rangers, Devils, very dicey. The only thing that stands out is the Devils equal 35. Rangers could get the 35th loss. Dicey. Islanders, their next game's against the Panthers. Panthers equals 47 and 101. If they lose tonight, great shape to beat the Panthers in the next game. There's a possibility they go in with that record. But Maple Leafs equals 99. Both teams could be even at 99 points with the Maple Leafs win. So I'd give the edge to there. Lightning and Senators. I do think the Senators upset the Lightning tonight. Again, Lightning have already won the entire league. Well, they haven't won the championship yet, but they have the best record and it can't be touched. 59 the 17th prime, 17 date. Ottawa equals 17, staying at 59 wins in Ottawa. Lightning equals 44. So Senators can stay on 44. If you do bet it, make sure you take the spread for the cushion. Well, unless you're super gung-ho, but I always say it's better to be conservative. Blues can get the 43rd win. St. Louis equals 43. So does Colorado. It's the overlap number. Think that happens. Jets and Blackhawks, tight riddle. Chicago has strong connections to 45 and 46. But because Chicago equals 46, just using the alphabetic order, and the Jets are playing for playoff position, whereas the Blackhawks are already eliminated, I think the Jets getting that 46th win is most likely. Oilers and Golden Knights, a little bit dicey. Oilers equals 42. The Golden Knights could stay on 42. However, the Oilers' next opponent equals 77. So they can stay on 77 points. The Golden Knights' next opponent is the Arizona Coyotes. Arizona equals 42. Coyotes equals 30. So that could go either way. Arizona Coyotes 93. If they lost this game, I'd say the Golden Knights are pretty much lock city to beat the Coyotes. But I'm thinking that the number that matters the most here is right here. Vegas equals 36. The Oilers get their 36th loss in Vegas. So I expect that that'll be the result. And Flames and Kings. Flames have already clinched the entire conference. They have nothing to play for until the playoffs. They could get their 24th loss against the Kings. Kings is 24. But I wouldn't bet on this game because Calgary equals 41 and Calgary equals 67. So very easily the Kings could lose as well. It's just you don't know. You don't know when you got a riddle that good on both sides. If the Kings are a great payout where you bet, maybe take the risk. Playing for the home ice pride, but I mean, again, 41st loss, staying at 67 points. Those are Calgary numbers. So we'll leave it there. Tomorrow, I think we're going to have a free pick on the Mariners game. So we'll be back tomorrow at the same time. Well, the normal time, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern. And I don't plan to ever do a split decode on you guys again. Sorry about that. Good luck and have a great rest of your day. Appreciate you guys.